Okay, today we're going to do the Pesachim Daf Yudal Dalf. This is starting a whole new concept. It's called the Sugya of Reb Chanina Skan HaKohanim. It's basically going through different things that happened in Masechta regarding most of it regarding the laws of Tumah. So the Mishnah starts off saying Daf Yudal Dalf right at the top. Reb Chanina Skan HaKohanim. Chanina the Skan HaKohanim. Chanina who was he was a Kohen type of the Beis Hamikdash, and he gave edus on what happened in the Beis Hamikdash. So he said like this: Mimeim Kehanim. The meaning of the Kehanim was whenever I was there, the meaning was Lo nimnu minislepes abasa shnitum b'vada tuma in abasa shnitum b'ava tuma. Okay, just a small introduction. Regarding the hilchos of tuma, I'm not sure if anyone if we've been through this. Tuma works like this. Tuma is you have an ava tuma. Ava tuma is first degree tuma. If something touches the ava tuma, let's say you have a dead person is the ava tuma. If you touch a dead person, you become a rishon, a first degree tuma. If someone touches a rishon, he becomes a sheni, and if someone touches the sheni, he becomes a shlishi, and so forth. And mistas by revi. So in the Beis Hamikdash, if you had meat that became tummy, how did it become tummy? Because it touched a first degree tumah. So now the meat would be sheni, be a second degree tumah. So if you had tumah, that's a second degree. If you had a tumah, which is a second degree tumah, and you have to get rid of it. The question is, I have another piece in my basa shnita ba'ava tumah. I have another piece that is also tummy, but this piece of meat is a rishon. So I have one piece of meat which is a sheni, one piece of meat which is a rishon. So can I burn them together? I have to get rid of both of them. Question is, can I burn them together or not? What's the problem with burning them together? Because if you burn them together, the meat, which is a sheni, would touch, which is a second degree tumah, would touch the first degree tumah, and then it'll be massive, will add onto its degree of tumah. Meaning by burning it together, you're going to add onto which level tumah it is. I'm going to speak about it in a second. So the Mishnah is a very extremely general Mishnah. So we're just going to go through the Mishnah, then we'll explain. The Gemara is going to explain in detail all the different details. So again, starting again. Chanina says, "Chanina Skan HaKohanim, Chanina the Skan of the Kohanim said, in the time of Mikdash, Mimeim Kehanim, from in the meaning of the Kehanim was Nimnu Milisnefes Abasa Shnita B'Vlada Tuma." They wouldn't refrain. They used to burn tumah that became a meat that became tumah, a first degree second degree tumah that now the tumah is a second degree, together with a basa shenita ba'ava tumah, together with meat that is a first degree tumah. Avapishim is sifin tumah tumasa, even though through burning it you're adding in this tumah. The Gemara can explain exactly what that means. Rabbi Akiva was meisif. Rabbi Akiva added onto this concept, and he said, "Mimeim shokehanim." The meaning of the Kohanim always was lenimnu milahadlik es hashemen shenifsa b'tzvul yom. If you have oil in the Beis Hamikdash, then the oil in the Beis Hamikdash became tummy. Why did it become tummy? Because there's a concept called the Tful Yom. I'm going to explain the Gemara in a second what that means. So if the Tful Yom touches the oil, becomes tummy. So you now can't use it in the Beis Hamikdash. You have to get rid of it. So the din was, and Bakiva said in the Beis Hamikdash, they used to burn the oil in a candle, meaning in the lamp. Even if the lamp was tumah from a tmei, so now the lamp is a first degree tumah, we still burn this oil in a lamp which is a first degree tumah. Even though through the oil touching the lamp it's going to make it extra tumah, meaning it's going to up its grade in tumah, we still do that. Meaning so far the common denominator between these two things are that in Beis Hamikdash we're not cheshish by changing the status of a lower tumah and making it onto a higher level tumah. We don't mind changing something from a third degree tumah to make it a second degree tumah, even though through that you're adding in its tumah. Rabbi said, we learn it from their words. So a lot of Rishonim say Rabbi's statement over here is not based on anything that we learned until now. It's a new statement, even though he says from their words. It doesn't mean the words of Rabbi Akiva, it means the words of someone else that he learned. Now what Shasayfin imatuma Shasayfin Truma Tahira im hatuma b'Pesach. That if we have truma, which is chametz, and it's tahir, it's pure. So why we're getting rid of it? Not because it's tummy, we're getting rid of it because it's chametz. But on the other hand, I have also in my tmeya, I have chametz which is tummy. So the din is, Rameir said, I'm able to take the Tumadika Truma and the Tardika Truma and burn them together, even though through that I'm making the Tardika Truma into Tumana. Amr basically says, that doesn't, I don't agree with that, and he argues. Made him Rabbi Lezer and Yeshua both agree that we burn the Trumadika, the Tamadika Truma by itself, and the Tardika Truma by itself. What does that mean? What is the machlekes? Ala tluya. They had a machlekes. Rabbi Lezer and Yeshua had a machlekes regarding tluya. We learned about this once already. You have something called truma tluya. Tluya means it's hanging. Why is it hanging? Because it's a truma which is a suffix whether it became tummy or not. So if you have truma which is a suffix whether it became tummy or not, so I have to get rid of it, right? The question is, do I have to burn it by itself, or can I join it together with another pile of truma which is tummy and burn it together, even though one is a suffix or one is a vadai? So Rabbi Lezer says that you have to burn the truma tmeya by itself in one fire, and have to burn the suffix truma, the suffix tmeya. If something's a suffix, I have to burn another fire. And Yeshua says shtein ka'achas, that you're able to burn them together. Okay, so let's not get carried away by the Mishnah, because the Gemara is going to explain in depth every single. The Gemara is going to go through. Oops, I'm sorry. The Gemara is going to go through all the details that we had in this Mishnah. So the Gemara starts off like this. Says the Gemara on Daf Yud Amud Aleph. Says the Gemara Michti. So this is going on the first statement of the Mishnah. Just repeat the statement. It says B'Chanina, the scan of Kainim said that in Beis Hamikdash they used to burn meat that became tamei from Erisha, meaning meat which is a second degree tumah, together with meat which is a first degree tumah. Just to clarify the rules again. If you have, let's say, let's find the object. Let's say this mouse is a dead person. So that person is called Av HaTumah. Av HaTumah is not even the first degree. He is the tumah itself. If I have this item and touches the Av HaTumah, so this item now becomes a Rishon, a first degree tumah. If I have another item that's going to touch this item, so this will now become a sheni. And if I have an item that touches this item, that item will become a shlishi. If this touches this, it will become a shlishi. So this is like a train. Rishon, sheni, av, rishon, sheni, shlishi. So in Beis Hamikdash, if you had tumah, which is a sheni, why is it a sheni? Because it touched a rishon. And then you have another piece of meat, which is a rishon. Why is it a rishon? Because he touched the dead person itself. So B'Chunya said that we could burn them together. Said the Gemara Michdi. Let's look into this statement. If you have meat that became tamei with a vlada tumah, with a rishon, what is it? He's a shein, right? So if you're gonna burn it together with a rishon, might have a shein. Okay, again, if you have a dead, let's say this is a dead person, and I have a rishon touch the heap, now becomes a rishon. Okay, if I'm gonna have, and then I have another piece of meat that was for whatever reason a shein. Why? Because it touched a person that touched a dead person. Shein. So if I'm going to burn them together, the tumah, the rishon, is going to make the sheni into a sheni, but he is a sheni already. So what's the Mechuna saying? Mechuna is saying if you have a sheni, you have a rishon, you can't burn them together. What's the worst that's going to happen? Why? Because you burn them together, even though you meisif from the tumah. How are you meisif from the tumah? Even if this is a sheni, this is a rishon. If you're going to stick them together, so the rishon is going to make the sheni, which was already a sheni, he's going to make it into a sheni. He's going to keep it a sheni. So you're not being meisiv from the tumah. Because the sheni who touches the rishon becomes a sheni. This thing was a sheni already. So what's the chiddush that you can't? What's the chiddush that you could burn together? My meisif la tumah al tumah seika. Which tumah are you being meisif from? Whatever was already. It's already a sheni. So even if you're going to burn together with rishon, it's still going to be the rishon is going to make it into a sheni. It's a sheni already. Answers the Gemara. Amr Rabbi Yehuda hacha bevlad askina. Here we're dealing with meat that is. We thought we're speaking about that meat, but the meat was a sheni. Now we're saying that we're dealing with a shlishi. Sava shlishi mutalas sheni. So now we're changing the case. We thought that you had a piece of meat which is a sheni, and you had a rishon, and you can't burn them together because you're making the sheni into a sheni. Well, the sheni is a sheni, right? So we're changing the case. We're saying this meat right now is a shlishi. A shlishi means he's a third degree tumah. So if you're going to burn it together with a first degree tumah, and if you burn a third degree tumah with a first degree tumah, what's going to happen? The first degree is going to make your piece of meat, instead of being a third degree tumah, now that it touched tradition, is not going to become a second degree tumah. So this is being massive, he's upgrading the degree of tumah that it was, and that's the chiddush. Even though it's upgrading the tumah that was, it's still counted, it's still okay in the Beis Hamikdash. I'm not going to explain so why it's okay, but it's okay. So that's the Gemara's answer. Says the Gemara, now the Gemara, it's a general question. This whole concept of meat, making another piece of meat tamei, we have to understand the whole concept itself. We have a rule that food isn't matame any other food. Something, if you have a piece of meat that's tamei, it doesn't make any other, the tumah doesn't transfer from one piece of meat to another. How do we know that? The Tanakh says in the Brisa, the Brisa asks, do you think that food is matama food? To teach us that food is not matama food, we have a pasuk. It says in the pasuk, it says in the pasuk that if you're going to put water on a seed, or you're going to put water on a plant, and then the plant is going to touch tame, so then the plant now becomes tame. It says about a tame vein ise. Who tame? Sorry, he becomes tame. The plant becomes tame, but the plant cannot transfer tumah. Food cannot transfer tumah to anything else. So if food can't transfer tumah to anything else, then I don't need this whole mission. It's telling me I'm able to burn two pieces of meat together, even though you're being massive in the tumah. You're not being massive in any tumah because food isn't matama any other food. Says the Gemara further on, this. So you can answer the question to Abaye, because Abaye says, when did we say that food is matama other food? By chulin, by mundane food. When it comes to holy food, when it like kachin and truma, so we were extra mach. We said that food is able to matama food. That's how the Mishnah makes sense. And so too, in the name of Rabbi also makes sense. Why? Because Rabbi said, now when did we say food is matama other food? By chulin and truma. But when it comes to karbanes, then food is matama food. But so that according to them it makes sense. Why? Because since they say by kachin food is matama food, so over here we're saying food is the food, even though the food is being massive in the tumah, you can still burn the tumah and you can still burn them together. But if you go according to the opinion of Ravina, Mishmei the Rabbi said the name of Rabbi, the Amar, which he says mikra male divra kasam, the Torah was very specific and it's very clear that food, any food, sai chulin, sai truma, sai every food is not matama food. Ravina is of the opinion that any food is not matame. If food isn't matame food, any food, even kachin, then what's this whole Mishnah talking about? That even though you're basic, you can't burn two pieces of meat together, even though you're basic through. We're speaking about food over here. Meat is food, and since meat is food, so why should you matame another piece of meat? Answers the Gemara, speaking right over here, the ikar mashkin b'adei basar, that the meat wasn't plain meat. The meat was soaked in a liquid before, and the rule that we said that food doesn't matama food only applies to food. When you're speaking about liquid is able to matama other food, and that's what we're saying, that the piece of meat it was wet before, it was soaked in liquid before, and then it touched a dead person or touched a dead tamilic object. So now, not only the meat becomes tummy, but the meat is able to transfer tumah, because when you have liquid, you're able to transfer tumah. Again, that the meat has liquid on it. And therefore it's able to make other meat tummy because it had liquid on it. Says the Gemara, if the meat had liquid on it, so that doesn't say that in the Mishnah. The Mishnah has to tell us that. It should say in the Mishnah that we're speaking about meat that has liquid on it. It doesn't say in the Mishnah that we're speaking about meat that had liquid on it. Allah, so the Gemara goes back on the answer, and we're going to have to answer like this. Even though generally food isn't matama other food, that's all midiraisa. But that food is able to matama food. And after the Rabban Wagez food is able to matama food, so then comes the chiddush of Rav Chanina, that even though food is matama other food, but when it comes to the karbanis, whatever reason, then we're able even though you're Masif in the Tumah, you're able to Masif, you're able to burn one level of Tumah together with a higher level of Tumah. Okay. That was dealing with the first statement of the Mishnah. Again, the first statement of the Mishnah was regarding meat, that you could burn a lower level of Tumah meat together with a higher level of Tumah meat, even though you're now contaminating this meat, lower level, making it into the higher level. Then we had a second statement from the Mishnah. Second statement from the Mishnah was, Rabbi Akiva said that if you have oil, which the oil became tummy, and you have a candle, meaning a lamp, which the lamp is also tummy, if you're able to burn the oil, the lamp will just the oil will just tummy in the tummy of the lamp. Says the Gemara, we said in the Mishnah that Rabbi Akiva was made, and the time of the Kehanim, they wouldn't refrain from lighting tamidika oil in a tamidika lamp. What type of case we're talking about? We said Rabbi Akiva said the case was that oil that became tamid through a tvulye. Okay, so a tvulye means like this. A tvulye means that if you have someone who became tamid, for example, let's use the example of a woman after she gave birth. The din is after after she gave birth, the din is that she's tamei for she has to wait 7 days after she gives birth to a male. After she gives birth for 7 days, then she goes to mikveh, and she only becomes tired, even though she went to mikveh already. She only becomes tired shkia after the last day, meaning she's not tired after she goes to mikveh. She goes to mikveh in the beginning, and then she stays tamei until the end of the day. Not the same degree tumah. The tumah goes down. She now becomes a level of a shlishi. It's as if she's a third degree tumah, but she's still tamei. So if you have this lady who was tamei, a third degree tumah, and she touched the oil lamp, so now the oil lamp becomes tamei. So let's see. Oil lamp, some oil which was touched by someone who was tamei, a tvuliyah. What degree tumah does the oil lamp now becomes? The oil lamp now becomes a shlishi. Why? Because we're not going to go into now, but tvuliyah is a sheni. And since the tvuliyah is a sheni, so then if he touches the oil becomes a shlishi. So the oil is now a shlishi. And if you're going to light it in a lamp that's tamei first degree tumah, let's say the lamp which you're putting the oil in is a first degree tumah. So if the lamp is a first degree tumah and it's going to touch the oil, so the oil which was now a third degree tumah, so now the oil's degree is going to jump. It's going to become a second degree. Why? Because it touched the first degree. Since you touch the first degree, so now it becomes a second degree. So you're basically Masif, you added a whole extra you added a whole extra level of tumah onto the oil. Says the Gemara, so if that's the case, my kamashma, what's Rabbi Akiva teaching us? Shlishi mutalas sheni is Rabbi Akiva teaching us that in Beis Hamikdash you're able to make a third degree tumah into a second degree tumah. Hainu. We just explained that is the same case as a b'chanina, because we just said now the case of b'chanina was that we said the meat was a shlishi and you're putting it together with a rishon. And now the meat is becoming a sheni, and Rechanina still said it's mutter. So why do I need two cases? One to speak about meat, and one to speak about oil, if it's exactly the same case? And especially it says in the Mishnah, Heisif Rabbi. It says Rabbi was Meisif on Rechanina because he's come to teach us the Chiddush. Says the Gemara, here we're speaking about a lamb which is metal. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here at the end of Yudal Amud, because the next piece is it's a different piece. So we're going to end up with the question on Naf Yudal Amud Aleph. Turn off the recording. Have a good night.